afternoon and welcome to Biztech's Asian Midday Market Watch, powered by Rajhi Bank Malaysia. Today, Jeffrey Halley, Senior Market Analyst, Asia Pacific from OANDA, joins us for the last time in this capacity at OANDA. Now, Jeff, great to have you on the show this time. You look very funky in your swanky batik, and obviously you're in a villa somewhere in Bali.
That is correct, and I've told my kids outside to keep the noise down for the next 10 minutes as well. So, yep, we're on holiday until Thursday, and then that's my last day is Friday. So, yep, all excited to be here though.
Yeah, and fantastic, and all the best in all the future stuff that you'll be doing moving forward.
Yeah, thank you, and I hope that everybody who's watched these shows over the years have actually gained something useful out of it, and it's been a pleasure and an honor to be here.
No, and thank you very much, Jeff. You've been an amazing contribution, and of course, you've been there from the very beginning. So I thank you and OANDA for supporting us through these last 2 years. So Biztech just turns 2 this month, actually, later this month. So thank you very much.
Time is flying, and I'm proud to see how it's come along, Brian.
Thank you. So now, before we come back and get your insights, let's take a look at some of the numbers. We've got Bitcoin, which is at 22,839.8. It's down 2.42%. Ethereum is at 1,573.88. It's down 7.2%. Now, looking across to regional stock markets, we start with the SGX. That's down 0.15%. Bursa Malaysia is down 0.36%. Shanghai is down 2.57%. The ASX All Ordinaries is down 0.07%. The Nikkei is down 1.42%. The Hang Seng is down 2.53%. And rounding up the numbers, we've got the Kospi, which is down 0.57%. So a bloodbath, Jeff, is probably what we could summarize this as. Tell us why.
2 words, Nancy Pelosi. So it turns out Nancy Pelosi, it looks like she is going to actually visit Taipei in Taiwan due in there later on this evening. That sparked fears that there'll be an escalation in tensions across the Taiwan Strait and retaliations, and we've already seen that. We've seen the usual Chinese fighter jets flying along the line of demarcation, but they've just announced also import bans on 100 Taiwanese food companies into China as well, much like the same strategy they used with Australia with its commodity exports, I think, last year. So those geopolitical tensions have impacted northern Asia markets in an outsized way. It's even pushed down US equity futures as well, but we're seeing the Kospi, obviously the mainland China, Hong Kong, and the Nikkei all falling quite heavily today, guilty by geopolitical association.
Now, the other factor that's in the room this morning is really the RBA, the Reserve Bank of Australia, which has come out and raised rates by 50 basis points. Tell us about that and how that's impacted investor sentiment.
Yeah, they've raised by 50 basis points as expected to 1.85%. And we've actually seen the Aussie dollar fall by about 0.7% today. It's fallen quite heavily. The key here has been the change in the language from the RBA, and it's basically similar to the Fed. They will be data dependent on rate hikes going forward. So, if the data slows down, they may not produce too many more or no more 50 basis point hikes. Very much the same reaction that we saw after the Fed, where the US dollar fell heavily and US bond yields fell heavily after that. And we've seen South Korea's central bank head come out and say very much the same thing today as well in a statement, I believe, to the parliamentary committee. So, the Aussie's under pressure today, but it also may be under pressure from Aussie yen selling because dollar yen is falling very heavily today. And I'm sure that there's plenty of cross yen selling going through the markets as well.
So that's then pressure on the Reserve Bank of Japan, really, to BOJ, to do something about that.
Well, I think they'll be pretty happy. They did mention this morning that the dollar yen had fallen rather quickly and rather heavily, but I've got a feeling they're probably cracking open the champagne in the halls of power in Tokyo, because the market has been caught very, very long and very, very wrong above 138 in dollar yen. And now we're not hearing any more noise about the JGB sell-off trade, and we're not hearing any more noise about intervention either. I mean, it's a slight negative for Japanese exporters because their exports will get more expensive, but also their energy bill will also fall as well. So I think sighs of relief all around from the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Japan. But dollar yen, it still looks like it has more to go. This market looks still very long and very wrong.
Now, Jeff, looking ahead, there's a lot of moving parts in the air right now.
Oh, yes.
What worries you?
Well, there's a few things. I mean, the China property, well, we could call it a crisis. They won't, but it really is. Evergrande's missed a self-imposed deadline yet again to move forward on restructuring its offshore debt, and it's having trouble with its onshore debt. We're seeing a swathe of property developers, obviously, in the China property sector under stress, and that market is very soft. We're going to see lower China growth. Behind all of that is still their COVID zero policy. Now this Pelosi visit will add more fire to that mix, although I think that will be a short-term impact on markets, not a long-term impact on markets. So from an Asia-centric point of view, yeah, I think it's definitely all about China. And I think really for the US, we know that Europe's going to have a recession. Is the US going to have a recession? The data isn't quite there yet, but I think if we have a very soft non-farm payrolls this Friday, that will be the last piece falling into place. We're probably going to see more pressure on the US dollar as US yields respond by moving lower.
Now, Jeff, as always, thank you very much for your insights, and thank you very much for coming on the show for the very last time. But I think we'll see more of you on Biztech moving forward.
I hope so, and maybe in my nice dress batik as well.
Now, we've been speaking to Jeffrey Halley, Senior Market Analyst, Asia Pacific at OANDA on Biztech's Asian Midday Market Watch, powered by Rajhi Bank, Malaysia. I'm Brian Fernandez. This video and podcast will be on our various platforms as well as our website, www.biztech.asia. Please like and subscribe to our various platforms. Thanks again for tuning in.